It is May 28th, 2022, and it's our final yoga class at the center, at a yoga studio called One Yoga Center. So I'm waiting for everybody to arrive, and the space is empty, but I'm excited about this next chapter, and it's kind of a bittersweet day. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to teaching my final class at the brick and mortar and ushering in a new era for One Yoga and Wellness. Let's see who comes in today. Where is everybody? It's 9:25. I'm thinking it's 9:30. Give a whole hour. All right. So here we are. Last class at the studio. So I wanted to start our practice today by just kind of talking a little bit about yoga. We've been practicing together. Claudine's kind of new. You've only been practicing with us a couple of months, I think, right? Probably our newest member. And Karen's probably one of our oldest members. Definitely age-wise, though. No, but we have been, together, some of us for a very long time and all in between. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a little bit like what is the yoga practice for you and why do you practice and how has it helped you in your life? Because it's so much more than just the postures, right? It's so much more than even stilling the mind, which is what a lot of yoga teachers say yoga is for. And you guys all probably already know my journey, because if I didn't start yoga, I would probably not be very good physical condition, but also just my whole life was kind of a mess. And I don't think that I had any kind of embodiment. My mom can tell you I was not a physical kid at all. I could stay in my room all day and write stories, but if they wanted to play tag, I was like, I'm good. So it's really gave me a whole shift into understanding who I am on such a vaster level. And I think that that still continues to peel back. And I think that I continue to find out deeper levels of who I truly am. So I'm fascinated by this practice and what it's given me. But I'd also like to give you a voice to hear what this practice has been for you. So why don't we start with you, Karen?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I guess I found you, it was 20 years ago. We started working, taking yoga, and I just loved it. And I loved the way it felt. And, when we did the training, I really wish, I always think about it. I wish I would have done the training now because I know more of who I am than I did going through that. And when I was doing the training, I was engaged to a horrible person, wound up marrying him. I mean, we all know my life story. And if I didn't have yoga, I don't think I would have came out so well on the other side. If I didn't have this and my mat to ground me, whatever it was. So I am thankful for you that you came in my life and, May said to me, since you want to go to the yoga studio, fall asleep on my
Last
son
time.
would fall asleep.
I got a whole room for him today.
I know, he was an infant coming. I mean, I did the prenatal, everything. I mean,
Yep.
put Krishna Das on and my baby was in bed. And, you know, this was just such a big part of us and our whole world, you know. So I thank you.
Yeah.
It's not over. A lot more journeys together.
So much more to do,
Yeah.
but yeah, I hear that a lot. You know, yoga has gotten you through the challenges, right? The ups, you've been there, but the downs for sure.
Your mat is always there. It's always open. It has no judgment. You know, however you are that day, you come, you show up, and that's all that matters.
Right. How about for you, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, I have a dance background, so that's what I thought I was doing with my life. And then it shifted gears, you know, when I wasn't dancing anymore. So I had really bad anxiety attacks, panic attacks in college. I was taken by ambulance to the hospital. Really embarrassing. But a teacher or administrator there was like, hey, you know, like check out the free classes that Mercer offers. And that's kind of how I started, and I just started a home practice. I started doing free classes at Mercer, and then I remember being like, oh my God, I think I want to do this. But through the trainings and through the years, it became so much more than just like, yes, it still helps with, you know, like stress and anxiety and, you know, stilling the mind and the physical aspect of it. But you know, it brought me closer to like a spiritual practice that was always kind of underlining in my life, but it helped me deepen it, and is continuing to deepen it. So I think that's a really beautiful thing, and it's opening so many doors, and and I'm so grateful every day.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah, your journey's just starting, I think, too. Even though you've been practicing for a long time.
Yeah.
Too. Hey, Karen, how about you?
Well, I think we go back to 2010, so it's been a long time. And I did yoga before that. It's grounding, guiding, you know, certainly adding spirituality to my life. But I think, like for me, it's just like an integral part of their everyday living. And it, as a psychotherapist, it literally wrings me out. I don't hold on to anything. I'm able to really let it go, let things like move through my body. And the practice is the only thing I've found that can do that. I can't think it away. I have to move it away. And so it's been, you know, clearly mind, body, spirit in every way. And I couldn't live without it. To me, it's like home. It's like going home. I feel like most at home on my mat. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. See, take it from the psychologist, psychotherapist. How about you, Robin?
I love it. So I started quite a while ago. I don't remember how long, but I love the physical practice, and just recently with my teacher trainings, I learned the more spiritual and the more of the slowing of the mind, or the mind stuff. And you know, it's a practice, but it's for me, it's really helping me, and I'm thankful to you for helping me to get there. Oh, I'm not there, but to help me along. And I plan to go forward with yoga, you know, whether it be teaching or just doing it, having it be part of my daily life. Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Vic, would you like to share with us what yoga has been for you?
Sure, Tracy. My reason is really simple. I just feel better after a yoga session, mind-wise and body-wise. So that's why I keep coming back. I look forward to every Saturday. I wish I could do more, but my job is so hectic. And this just take me away from that and the everyday kind of like chores and errands to do. So very simple for me. I feel so much better.
Simple is good. It doesn't have to be any more than that, right? Feels good. Mama, would you like to say anything? You have a good morning yoga practice.
I'm sorry, you're talking to me, right, Trace?
Yeah. Do you want to tell everybody what yoga has given you? Just your yoga practice?
Oh, it makes me. I start my day every day with an hour of yoga, and I don't know that I could continue a day without it. I have I'm older, and I have the slight, back pain or whatever. But after my session, it takes all that away, and I feel great for the rest of the day. We started this many years ago. Tracey, Susie, our friend Susie, and I were out in California, and Susie had said, "Tracey, for your back, I heard about this thing called yoga." So we started this many years ago. So I thank her. She's been a big part of my life. I love you.
Oh, I love you, Mom. Don't get me crying. I gotta teach. All right, so we'll go around, Jamie.
Okay. I had a friend who did Tracey's yoga training years ago, and so when she would practice all of her, practice teaches, I would be like her guinea pig, and that was kind of when it started. But I wasn't until like really pandemic time when I really needed yoga, and I found it again, and coming here and like over the last summer, just felt like my happy place, and my body was saying, this is where we need to be. This is what we need right now. And it had been a long time that something like gave me that joy or spark, or that my body, I don't know, maybe that I had space to listen to what I needed.
Yeah.
And then this past year has been a crazy one personally, and yoga was exactly what I needed to stay grounded and feel empowered physically and mentally and spiritually. So I'm grateful. And that's all I can say.
How about you, Deb? When did you start yoga? How many years ago?
1968.
68. I was born.
1968. I was 13 years old, and I started, they had adult education in high school after, the evening, and I was bullied a lot in school, and I used to come home crying all the time, and nobody would be with me. I had to go out of town to find a date for prom. But I went to this yoga class at night, and then her name was Ruth Rossi, and I'll never forget her. She started me on yoga, and I could just feel like accepted. Went through the whole thing. At that time, it was really just physical. I wasn't getting into the spiritual at all. The mental was able to quiet it down and feel a little better about myself. But that's 55 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm now 68 and I still do yoga. But it wasn't until after I had to deal with breast cancer that I got into it deeper to get through the chemo and everything. And my yoga instructor then from
See, I got that.
Yeah.
That's cancer too. Add that to the list, yeah.
my yoga instructor from Freehold, she turned around to me one day and she said, "What in God's name are you doing in this class?" What? She goes, "You need to be a teacher." I'm like, no, I can't do that. I've only been doing yoga for 45 years, And at that point, she said to me, "All you do is ask me questions all the time. You got questions. You need to find the answers." I'm like, oh, maybe I do. And that's when I went to Freehold Yoga Center. And in the beginning, Omkar scared me a little too. But I found such acceptance through yoga. And I found that I was blessed to be able to get this gift of teaching. From that point forward, after I finished my 200 hours, I have never accepted a penny to teach anybody yoga. It's my gift to give back. And I teach all the time. chiropractors, churches, just one-on-one when people need it, because it's a gift. That gift of happiness and spiritual freedom and healthy living is something that I could never want to hold inside and not share. And my way of sharing is, here it is, take what you want. You know, I'm free for the asking. And that's what brought me through everything, including my son's addiction. So thank God that he's clean 3 years now, so.
There you go, lots of stuff, right? How about you, Shara? You just started, what, a year ago?
It's about a year right now. My neurologist told me probably, I mean, I've been going to him since I'm 12. He's been telling me to do yoga forever. And he's like the #1 neuro in the country. And he was like, I've been through a lot with my head. And then I was abused and a lot of stuff. And he kept telling me yoga. But I wouldn't go because I was ashamed because of the abuse. So last year I met Mark at the store.
Yeah.
Because I'm a crystal addict. That's the way I describe it. And so I saw the crystals there. My boyfriend's with me, and he was like, "You need to go to my friend's store." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I think it's open for another half hour." And my boyfriend's like, "Let's go." And he's good. He just sits like in the car and does whenever I say, because he's very supportive. And I came up and I didn't come back down probably for an hour. And then you had the pyramid meditation.
Oh,
and we talked about me trying. And he was all supportive. He's like, if you hate it, don't go back. And he sat in the car my first session.
Oh,
So
that's
for
awesome.
me, it's helped me to like get rid of a lot. Like, my health is a lot better. Last year I had major surgery and we did our grid board, and I swear that's the reason why I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, and I did my own kind of yoga during it, but because my doctor told me I couldn't do yoga.
Oh, they're famous for that.
But it wasn't my neuro. My neuro told me to keep going.
Yeah.
But my surgeon told me he was scared.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me it's life changing.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you. Well, we have one guy here today. You're going to speak for all the men.
For all men.
No pressure.
No, yoga for me has been healing. You know, I came here in 2010 because of my girlfriend, and at the time, like, there was always like lingering injuries and stuff that I could never really figure out how to fix, and then yoga would just magically fix them. Like my shoulder, I got all my mobility back. I had a lot of stiffness in my hips, working on that for many years. All that stuff has been like huge. Meeting you has been amazing, right? Like I remember one of the first times, you know, we were talking about like quieting our minds, right? And I came up to you afterwards and I was like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. Like, we just sit here, we just do nothing. And yeah, I mean, like this has taught me like a practice that I can do at any time. So like in-person classes has dropped over the last few years, but I still practice. You know, like it's my home base. Like this, you specifically have taught me that there's no judgment on the mat. You know, this is truly like a really, really safe place. I've learned about a lot of things spiritually. I think you taught me a way in which I can connect with some sort of higher power that I didn't even know existed, and that came through the practice. And you know, I was really impatient for a long time, and the word practice, you know, like it turns into this thing where like you know, it's about that journey to get there, you know, like, and we're better some days than others,
Yeah.
and what a gift, you know, it's kind of taken a lot of the pressure and stress off of trying to be like perfect all the time. Right? So yoga has been healing, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, and as the only man most of the time, it's you know, it's given me a different perspective, you know, like for me growing up, it was all about masculine energy at all times. And then here I was really able to tap into some feminine energy and kind of see what that looks like and feels like, and realize like that's okay, you know, that's all part of, you know, being a whole person.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's just been such a great thing. So thank
Love
you.
all that. Thank you. Nicole.
Well, I feel like I had the opposite of Josh. I had a very male energy and I needed a feminine energy. And see, I've been with Tracey for 15 years.
15 years. Is that when you started yoga?
That's when I started. My very first class was with Tracey. I am just a super ambitious person, and I just store trauma in my body. And the first time I sat in Tracey's class, I wanted to run out because I was like, I can't sit here. My brain is racing. It felt like the Indy 500. And over the years, I practiced various kinds, tried different studios, but I always came back to Tracey because she had the perfect amount of spirituality and physicality. And I am a full person today because of you. I am 100% grateful for going through all of my teacher trainings. I have survived many storms in my life, and I've always come here through losing my niece to addiction, going through a divorce. I don't sit here and feel like a victim. I feel like a very strong woman. And I am raising two badass daughters. Strong. And yoga, Tracey's yoga, has allowed me to learn who I am, to kind of go through all the layers of who I am and bring in that feminine energy that I was lacking. And for that, I think it's made me a better person. So I thank you.
Thank you.
And I will miss the brick and mortar, but you will always be here. Yeah.
You're just gonna have to start traveling with me, that's all. Now that those girls are getting bigger.
Yeah, I'll have to bring the little one with me.
She'd love that.
Yeah.
So we have two more people to speak. Lisa.
I started yoga in December of 2016, which I remember exactly because I'm in a super angry point in my life. My adult children at that point were making me very angry, and I needed something that separated me from them. And this was what it was. This was what helped me to separate out and realize, like, okay, my oldest dropping out of college. It is what it is, you know, like that's his story, that's his life, that's his path. That's not me. I need to, you know, separate out from that and from his trauma and his stuff and create Lisa again. And that was, you know, I had 22 years of being mom, and, you know, how do you separate out and become your own person again? And that's what yoga has really helped me to do. It's the first any type of exercise program I've ever been able to stick with. And I know it's really not exercise per se, but it is just the fact that I can stretch and the strength that I've acquired over the past 5.5 years is nothing that I ever thought I would have in my whole life. So there's so many layers of it, and I'm proud that I've been able to stick with it, that I can continue to do it. And all through the pandemic, it was incredibly valuable to have you at home coming into my living room 3 days a week, whenever I was turning it on, to be there and continue that forward motion. So thank you. And I'm in a much healthier place in me and relationship with my kids. It's really hard to find being a mother of adult children.
Yeah, I hear that. Thank you. Last but not least.
I am from Haiti, so I moved here, and all my family is really far away, so I always feel looking for somewhere to belong.
Oh.
And maybe I can find a yoga place where I can come in like a little bit close because of my work schedule. And finally, when I found here 2 months ago. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to keep you connected through maybe Karuna's classes that she's doing or some other things that we do. Just keep in contact, keep connected. You do have a family. We're all a big dysfunctional family together.
Thank you.
We're all perfectly imperfect, which is what one of my teachers says. So with that, let's come on to our mat, and I think we need to stretch into maybe child's pose since we've been sitting for a little bit. Put your forehead on the mat and be that trusting child again, and just let go. And maybe take a couple of deep surrender breaths out and just let go of all the stuff. If you don't want to do child's pose, that's fine too. Just wherever you want to sit on the mat and just bow your head. And to me, this is that ritual bowing, that putting our ego down and opening up to this greater space of love and appreciation for, first of all, for ourselves, but for life on our planet, and for this idea, this beautiful concept. It's not just that, but it's this reality of oneness, the total reality of oneness, that we're all one. We've always been one. We've just manifested into separate little pieces here on this earth that we call a body, and we feel separate, but that's not our reality. The ultra greater reality is that we're one. And so as you're breathing into your body here, as you're taking either ujjayi breaths or deep belly breaths, and as you're just feeling into the contents of the space that this oneness occupies for you, know that this whole practice is all about reclaiming that oneness, finding that space. And whether you came to the mat and found healing, or found joy, or connectedness with your family, or whatever that you all said, it's all that and more, because it's the only practice that I know of that allows us to yoke together all the parts of our individual being into one being. And that's what's so magnificent about it. To me, there's no other practice that lets us find that unification. So take another couple of really big breaths in your child's pose or your forward fold, whatever you're in, and really just kind of feel into your body and the space that it's occupying, and just what are we feeling in this moment? What do we need to work on? What do we need to release? It's all just a part of our journey. I literally have no clock, so we're just practicing. There's no timeline. So if you have to be somewhere, go. Otherwise, we're just practicing and we're just going to be in the flow of some organic energy together. I know like half of you have your little watches on. Try not to look at them. Try to just be in the flow of the energy today and in the oneness. So when you're ready, you can come up and join me in table pose, and we'll do a few cat-cows and some of my favorite opening stretches, because we really want to get into the spine. Spine is everything, and the health of our spine is everything. So once you're up on those hands and knees, you start to take the tailbone up and round, arch the back one vertebrae at a time, looking up. And then with an exhalation, start to tuck the tailbone under, and one vertebrae at a time, then the head drops down. And as you're doing these glorious, wonderful movements for your back, make sure you're taking care of your wrists and your knees any way that you need to. And just feeling into your body here. And linking the breath and the movement, which to me creates this gorgeous energy, this pranic energy. And that's what helps me to connect body, mind, and soul. It's that breath, movement, synchronization. So just breathe and feel, breathe and feel. As you come back to center, you can walk your hands over to the left side, and we'll do just a few rotations here. Just make sure you realign those arms. Arch your back on the inhale. Exhale, come under. Just continue that slow rotation up and down. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Let's see what's going back here. And always honor your body. If we're practicing, if anything I say doesn't feel right, don't do it. Do what feels right. It would have been like the olden days when we put the heat on, because it just jacked up to 85. I fixed you.
Because I'm sweating really much.
And then coming back to center when you're ready, walk it over to the other side. And continue that movement. Yeah, so a lot of people like to practice yoga with heat today. The hot yoga is a big, big development. Yogis in India, of course, practiced in natural heat. And so I think you just have to be comfortable. If you like heat, practice with heat. If you don't, it's not that time for you, and you're having those hot flashes and the other stuff, and put the air on. It's all good. And when you're finished with this last one, we'll come back and we'll go into our first downward dog and really give ourselves that full body stretch. So just make sure your wrists are straight. Give yourself a little push, lift those hips to the sky, press the chest back, elongate the tailbone up and back, press through the heels, or alternate pressing the heels if that's what feels good today. And press down with one breath, and then press the other heel with the other breath, and just feel into that. You lift that tailbone up as high as you can get it. Drop both heels to the floor. Take another couple of breaths. And exhale, knees to the ground, coming back to table pose, but walking up and kneeling. Kneeling position, you can roll your mat back. If you can't kneel, stay on your butt. We'll do a variation of something. Take the hands to the heart center for a moment, bowing your head. And then inhale the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, arms shoot down around your body. Take another couple of rounds, making the sun here. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Just feeling into your body here, this moment. You can always turn sideways if you're close to the wall, readjust your mat or readjust your body. And then we'll take the hands around and interlace the fingers behind you. And you can't do that hands on the back or hold a strap. And then you're gonna pull the shoulders to the back, look up, reach the hands away from you. Get a nice big opening in the front body, in the heart, neck, shoulders. Just pull the belly in and lengthen the tailbone down. Feel this heart opening close. And we're gonna release the hands. It's up to you guys if you want to turn to the left side of your mat so that you're facing it sideways like me. And then we're going to take your right leg to the side. So you can do it either way, just so that you have a little bit of space, okay? And you can do this seated or kneeling. So that's the beauty here. I'm going to take that deep breath with the left arm and come on up and bend over to that right side, and just make sure you're not pushing all that weight into the knee, but maybe put your hand on your hip crease or down the leg and reach across. Take the arm all the way over by your ear. Feel that whole side opening, getting into the ribs and the intercostal muscles so we can create more space for our lungs to breathe and for our digestive organs to work. One more deep breath, reaching across. Feel yourself extending. And then we're going to go into full moon pose. So as you bring the arm up, slowly let it travel down to the floor on the other side. And then extend the other arm straight up towards the sky. And you can stay right here, but take a moment to see if the arch of your right foot, your left knee and left hand are in a straight line down the mat. And if so, then you can start to push your hips forward, bring the arm and the head behind you. Look at the wall that's behind you. If that doesn't feel good, drop your head and look down. And just feel into your body, this big full stretch and opening of the full moon, a full circle, whatever you want to call this pose. Feel like the whole body is opening. Take one more deep breath here. Maybe you want to rotate that upper wrist a little bit just to release any tension in the wrist. You know, the other day I taught the class and I rotated one wrist and I forgot the other side and it still bothered me. I don't know if anybody else forgot. Still bugging me that I forgot. Okay, so come on up again. Lower the hand. Now, this is up to you. You can bend the knee and turn it out towards the side. Still want to keep it in alignment. You're good with the seat, just keeping the leg to the side, right? But if you're here with me, maybe you want to just kind of, stretch into that hip a little bit. And I know we always talk about not letting the knee go past the ankle. So we're not putting a lot of pressure here, but we're allowing ourselves to kind of move into that hip a little bit. And that might feel a little tight today, right? It's like, ooh, where you been all my life? But then we're going to come up and realign the legs. And come into just a little seated or a kneeling warrior two. So as the arms open, you can turn your head to the right and just reach across with your arms. And always try to have your fingers, elbows, shoulders, wrists, everything in alignment. And then just breathe. And you know that back arm likes to sag, so take a peek, make sure it's still working for you. Reaching through the arms. And maybe even put the palms and face them up and really open it to your heart. One more breath, everybody. You're doing good. And remember, if this is too much on your knee, just sit down. It's all good. Or stand up. Take an exhale. Float those arms back down to the earth. Bring the leg back. Let's do a down dog before we do the other side here. Lift those hips to the sky. Push it back. Nice big stretch. Take those hips to the back wall. Like, I think Tom Cruise just flew over. And on the exhale, we'll bring it back down. Lower those knees to the earth. Come on back up. Again, if this isn't feeling right for you, take a seat. And then extend your left leg. Remember, you can turn to the other side of your mat now, other side of the room. Get a nice little look in last day. Line up the arch of the foot and the knee. And when you're ready, taking that arm up towards the sky, and then the right arm comes over as you travel down into this side stretch, right? Again, just take it as far as you want it to go. Feel into this gorgeous opening in the waist. Moving into some rib cage action, and some people like to spiral open. You can really play into that rib cage here if you like. Just keep bringing that right arm across. And then we'll inhale back up. And for full moon, go ahead and float the arm down. So remember, if you're kneeling and it's starting to feel too much, put a cushion under your knee. The other arm's kind of come up, line it all up. See, I have that front hand forward too high. And then you can push your hips forward, bring the arm back, drop your head backwards if it's available. Get in that big opening here. Feel like your whole body is waking up. I'll never forgive myself if we don't rotate the wrists. So some wrist action. I'll be thinking about it all June. And when you're feeling ready, we'll come back up for our kneeling warrior two. So you can bend the knee. And before we do the warrior, maybe you just want to kind of come into this hip a little bit. Just move into that. Anybody getting any popping in the hip joints with this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Good. Feel like the Tin Man, and we're just oiling up all those tight joints. So let's line it all back up. The knees, or if you're seated, that leg's maybe still extended to the side. We're going to just open those arms and come into our warrior two. So line everything up, full straight lines through the shoulders. Turn your head, look over the right hand. Keep breathing. Or your left hand if you do the other side. It's okay. Whatever way you're facing. Just breathing, a couple more breaths. Maybe you turn the palms up, open your heart, really feel into that pose. Remember that back arm likes to sag. See some saggers. And then we're going to release that down on the exhale. Come back to the earth. And shift your weight, come into down dog again, lift those hips to the sky. If down dog's not in your practice, maybe you're on your hands and knees in table pose. Or maybe you're seated rolling the spine. Whatever you'd like to do, shake that hip back. Shake that hip. So leg option for anybody who'd like, take that left leg to the sky, bend the knee, roll the hip joint over so that the hips are stacked, and maybe roll this ankle a little bit. Just make sure that your shoulders are squeezing in here, guys. Don't rotate the chest. Exhale, lowering that leg. Optional other leg. Take it to the sky, bend the knee, roll the hip joint open. Again, letting your head drop down and breathe. Maybe rotate that upper ankle and foot. Take your exhale, lower down. Let's come into child's pose again. Ah, sink it back. Big sigh, everybody. Let it go. Big sigh. Releasing into the yoga mat. Maybe releasing your wrists a little bit. Ah, I'm feeling into that. How do we feel in our body this morning? After you take another couple of breaths, we're going to be coming onto the stomach for a few poses. So when you're ready, you can make your way down, walking your knees back, lowering the stomach, coming down, and maybe having your legs come in together. I'm telling you, Tom Cruise, I think it's definitely the Air Force doing things. What is it? I know. It's Tom Cruise. So let's go into a little bit of a Sphinx. You're going to be pressing those forearms into the floor, pressing the legs into the floor. You guys at home, can you hear the flyovers that are happening?
You can hear
You
this.
can? Yeah. It's loud. It's like right over the building. Tom Cruise. Breathing. I stuck with him through the couch incident and everything. I love him. Deep breathing. So the more your legs press down and the more your arms press down, the more you can lift your heart, open your chest. Just keep breathing. Now you can lay it down and come into maybe some crocodile, bringing your head down, resting, taking a sigh. You can even bend your knees, let your legs go side to side, just a little release of the lower back. We're going to be doing some locust poses, half locust first. So once the legs come down, bring your arms back. And work your arms underneath your legs. And I like to try to get the elbows under. And keep your chin down on the mat if you can, or you can put your chin on a pillow, whatever works for you. And then I want you to press your legs into your palms, lift your kneecaps off the floor, and then raise just your right leg to the sky, pointing that toe up and back. Big toe. And spiraling the inner thigh up. Deep breathing. And feeling that whole leg energize. Exhale the leg back down. Now make sure both legs energized so the kneecaps are up, but the toes are flat. And then take just the left leg up. Point the big toe back and spiral the inner thigh towards the sky. Great. Doing it, just keep breathing. Release it. Release your hands and turn your head to one side for sponge. Take a deep breath out. Just breathing into your body. Deep breaths. So you can bring your head back and work your arms behind you, interlace your fingers again. If you can't do that, hold your low back like we did before, and then pull your elbows back, lift your chest, and I want you to pull your legs together and lift your legs up off the mat. As we come into a locust variation, keep your neck long and feel the inner thighs come together. Some people call this downward boat, locust. See if you can lift up a little bit more and really engage the back side of your body. And as you lower it, release to sponge, turn your head to the other side, big sigh. So let's work on the front side of the core. Let's flip over onto our back. Just roll over like a pancake. And hug the knees into the chest, pulling them in nice and tight. You can rock gently side to side, massage the back. Feeling into that slow rotation. And we're going to raise our legs straight up towards the sky. Try to line up your ankles with your hips, right in the center of your hip. Bring your belly down towards the floor. Pull it in. And then raise your arms. And as you inhale, lift your head off the mat. But don't reach for your legs. Just reach straight up. Pull the belly in. Deeply breathing. If your neck hurts, hold your hands behind your head. Exhale, lower down and pull those knees in. Rock gently side to side. Let it go. Am I keeping you awake, Jamie?
Sorry.
Okay. Just checking. I'll wake you up, I promise. Let's raise the legs. I do the same thing. Every time I start working really hard, I yawn. So we're gonna pull the belly down. Legs stay straight. Try to really line up the ankles and hip joints. This could be a lot of work for us just here. Or you could put your hands behind your head and lift again. Or reach with the arms and the back comes off the floor. So either way, you decide how you want to practice today. If it's too much tension in your neck, you're going to want to hold the head. And exhale it down again. Hug in, big sigh. And maybe circle out those knees. Big full circles. Feeling lovely. So place the feet on the earth and let's do a little bridge pose. So I took all the blocks home. You can't use those unless you brought them. So we're gonna do the real bridge. So start tucking your shoulders under the body. Push your hips up off the floor. See if you can get the arms under the body, clasping your hands. Now, once you really push the ball mound of the big toes into the mat, pull the inner thighs towards each other as you're lifting. And then open through your chest. Look up at the crown of the head, reach your gaze back. Another breath. And release. Bring those hips back down and you can open your arms and windshield wiper your knees from side to side, letting it go. See how that's feeling today. Into your body. All right, feet on the mat and coming into a supine pigeon, bring your right foot to your left thigh. And as you flex the foot, you can press the right knee away from you. And the option is to hug the left knee towards you with your arms or not with your arms. Keep your right foot flexed and keep your back on the mat as you isolate the right glute in this stretch. Send lots of breath there into that hip joint. Love into your hip, love into your body. If you want, you can extend your left leg straight, reach your hands up. Sometimes I lift my head and grab that ankle and then pull the leg towards me a little bit more. And that may or may not work for some of you, so just stay wherever you need to be in that pose. Try to keep the lower back down, pull it towards the mat if it lifted. And then we can walk down our leg, release it to the mat, right foot comes down. Windshield wiper, big sigh, let it all go. Oh. And let's do our other side. So left foot coming across to the right thigh, flex the foot. Push the knee away from your hips and body. Right leg comes in if you'd like. Reach up or not. And hug the right knee towards your body. Again, take those full deep breaths in and out. Really try to feel into that left glute here. You have the option of extending the right leg straight up and maybe reaching for that ankle or calf and pulling the leg in towards you more if it's available today. then go ahead and release that back down and take a full body stretch here where you reach through the arms and the legs. And just elongate through your body. And you have the option of just kind of staying here, or if you'd like to practice shoulder stand, you can come into shoulder stand. Now, there's no blankets, no props. So you also have the option of just raising your legs. You brought a pillow or something for under your hips, you can elevate them, or you can do legs up the wall, where your legs are resting on the wall. Those who do shoulder stand, take your legs up, lift your hips, walk all the way up. As you get into that inversion, you're going to work the elbows and shoulders under the body so that they're supporting you. Great. So I love that we have everything from legs up the wall to full shoulder stand. So for those of you who want to go into headstand, that's more your speed. You certainly can come up into headstand. So options. Any inversion is where technically the hips are elevated above the heart, but even legs up the wall feels lovely as a variation. If you're getting any pressure in your neck, as I sometimes do here, you shouldn't feel that the head is flattened in shoulder stand. Keep your cervical arch. And if it's too much, just come down. Just lay down. Those of you that are still in shoulder stand, if you want to do plow, you can take your feet over your head towards the mat, towards the floor for plow, and you can keep your hands on your lower back if you like. That's supportive for you. Feel into your body. It's all appropriate, whatever you're needing today. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly support your back. Come on down from the pose. Pull the belly in so the core supports you, releasing. And the counter pose is fish. So the legs extend and the arms come under your body. And you do try to get those elbows under. Keep your arms straight. Then lift your head and shoulders. Drop the crown of the head back. And point your toes. Feel the heart open up, chest, neck, throat, and breathe. Remember, you can always do supported fish if you have a little blanket or block. You can put it under your shoulders for a little lift. That's that. When you're ready, you can release your fish by bringing it to the earth. And let's pull our knees into our chest again, hugging in as we prepare for a spinal twist. So I'm going to do mine with one leg. You can choose to do both. I'm going to keep the right leg in and extend the left leg to the mat. Again, you can stay here on your back, just with right knee to chest. Or we can come over onto the left hip. And as you stack the hips, bring your right leg across, bending the knee. Open the right arm to the side. And the head can be wherever it wants. To the left, to the sky, or to the right. And just breathing into your body, really squeezing into your body. And wringing out anything that's left to wring out that doesn't feel right or good. Just breathing into you. All of you. it feels appropriate to release, come onto the back, full body stretch. And other side, left knee comes in, hug it in. You can choose to stay on your back right here. Or you can roll over onto the right hip. That left leg crossed. Open the left arm. Again, head goes to the right, to the side, or to the left, all options. Finishing out that breath release. Come down onto the back for Shavasana. Close your eyes. Any final stretch you might need, do that. And just take another deep breath and let everything go. Big sigh. Let your arms come to your sides with the palms facing up. Give yourself a chance to rest by closing your eyes. Letting go of your breath, your body, your mind. Relax. And just feel this beautiful, perfect moment right here. All of you in one place, all the parts of you, including the extension that reaches beyond your physical being. Part of you that feels like you've come home when you're on your yoga mat. Starting to breathe into your body here. Stretch into your body. Wake up your body. Roll over onto the right side in the fetal position. Taking a moment. Yeah, to just watch the wire right behind your head. It's okay. And coming back to the present moment when you're ready, joining us seated. We're going to end with a little bit of chanting because we have not been able to chant together. So you guys are welcome to open your mics up or not. Sometimes there's a lot of distortion with that, but it's up to you. So let's just come for a moment into our heart space. Feel into the moment, feel into your body, mind, and spirit, your wholeness. As we open up with 3 rounds of Om, we open our throat, we open our heart, we open to this gorgeous sound, this vibration of unification, the remembrance that we are one. So 3 rounds of Om. There's a mantra, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. I know a lot of people that already. It means, may all beings be happy and free. May the thoughts and actions of my own life in some way contribute to that freedom for all. I'll chant. You can join in whenever you feel called to. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 As we feel into our world and the ever-changing circumstances, let's all be in that remembrance that we're one, that remembrance that we can elevate each other, we can heal each other, we can repair and elevate all life on this gorgeous planet. We only come into that remembrance, that unification. So I think the call as we move forward, as you feel in any way fearful or separate, is to come into your heart. Know that that is an illusion. That the greater reality is that we are one being. Well, it's true. So we end with Om Shanti, 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 which is, of course, peace, but we're calling forward so much more. We're calling inner peace, of course. It has to start with us. We're calling outer peace. And we're calling for peace everywhere in our world, wherever peace needs to come forward. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bringing our hands to our heart, bowing our heads as we conclude our practice today. Love and oneness, never separate, always together, always one. Namaste. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, sister.
Where's the mic?
She went
It's
cozy.
fell.
Right.
It fell, it literally fell.
I was sitting here thinking when we started years ago, I mean, it was all about the atmosphere, and remember we used to like, let's create the mood, and the incense and the candles and the music, and it all had to be right. Here we are just sitting in the room, just lights on, no music, like total like.
Here we are.
Yeah.
But I think we needed it then. We don't need it anymore. We need it.
Sometimes I still
It's
love the
nice.
incense.
It's nice.
Not always. I still love the incense.
Oh, I enjoy incense. But I don't burn it like I used to.
Thanks, Tracy. I'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
everyone.
That was beautiful,
We'll
Tracy.
see you in July.
That's it. It's a wrap. We're empty. But at the same time, so full. Thank you for everybody that stopped by. Let's remember that we're one. We're all one. Hi, I'm home from teaching the last yoga class at the studio. We had a little open house type thing afterwards, and a few other people stopped by to say hi or goodbye or just share stories. And it was such a beautiful day. It was such a wonderful way to close out 20 years of that brick and mortar yoga studio. And I already recorded something for the June newsletter, and I felt very compelled to just say, I don't know, a few more things, because today has been so impactful and so important. And I heard so many beautiful things today. Not really about me. I mean, some things obviously about me, but more about, I asked the class what yoga has meant to them or done for them. And there was so many so many things that were shared. I mean, from healing, yoga has just been overall healing. Yoga has helped people overcome diseases like breast cancer. Yoga has helped people overcome grief, loss of a loved one. Yoga has helped people recover from trauma and deal with addiction and loss of loved ones from addiction. Yoga has helped people have a better relationship with their family, have a better relationship with themselves. So many things. It's overwhelming. This embodiment practice is so inclusive of every part of your being. It heals and helps recalibrate your body. Someone came in and shared how he had fractured his femur bone and has a titanium rod, and had been practicing with me for over 10 years, and when started was told by the doctors he'd never have the certain flexibility that he has. And in a few short years of practicing yoga, he gained the mobility back he had prior to the fracture and then some. So it's been, and that's not the first time I've heard stories of people whose doctors have said, maybe you don't do yoga for this or that, and or you'll never be able to do this or that again. And yet yoga revealed something incredibly healing, and that's the body. And then we heard so many things from people about dealing with anxiety and depression, again dealing with trauma and abuse, and how yoga has been impactful in how the mind works, and how in just allowing the mind to slow down or calm to a point where that's not there anymore, where they actually can function in a very positive way, because they're not replaying certain things over and over in their head. People talked about the spiritual component, and some people having no spiritual background, some people being brought up in a particular religion or spirituality, and how the practices will help them align with this trueness within them, this alignment to this divinity within, and whatever that means to them personally, but has brought forward either an understanding or a reclaiming of that not even spiritual, just spirit connection or divine connection within. So this practice that you unroll the mat, you sit, you breathe. It's not about calisthenics. It's not about acrobatics, although some people take it there. And certainly if your physical prowess allows you to do that, why would you not? You don't want to pull yourself back if you can do that stuff. But just allowing yourself to drop in and breathe in your body is huge. It's life-changing. It's transformational. Just drop in and breathe. And then you add these different postures that squeeze into these different areas of the body where you're holding the past, where you're literally stuck in energy from before. And you breathe into that and you squeeze into that, and the next thing you know, you're releasing it. It's not even in your energy field anymore. so it just was a gorgeous, gorgeous day. I'm so appreciative of everybody that came out or shared or dropped in after class. It was such I think today was a confirmation on two levels for me. One was this level of continuing to offer embodiment practices for people who are still struggling with this, but also hearing from so many people that maybe don't practice with me regularly anymore because they've developed enough skills to have their own practice at home, and yet then maybe coming in and going, God, I forgot how good your classes were, and maybe I shouldn't have spent so much time away. But I feel like, you know, part of my legacy is that I think a good teacher doesn't clip your wings and keep you in their space. A good teacher lets you fly. A good teacher gives you the skills to jump out of the nest and fly away. And you may come back from time to time just because of that comfort, but you become your own being and you soar to maybe even greater heights. I've had so many students soar to way greater heights than what I've achieved as a yogini or as a teacher or as a human being. There's so many levels that I have seen people go to that I'm just in awe of their ability to connect with whatever it was that they connected with within them that brought out this just beautiful person that they've become. And a lot of us really were just hot messes going into yoga, you know, just really raw, crazy hot messes. And this practice has just been a transformative thing. So this validation to me today that, you know, embodiment practices are so important. And then at the end of the day, when I had just 3 bags left to carry out to the car, and it was 15 minutes, after one, and I had given my keys over, I had one lingering soul come in, and the validation with that was that I'm also very much done having the brick and mortar space. And that component is for sure done. You know, so many validations flowing in today, and I feel that I'll be a better teacher for you moving forward with less. So if I'm offering fewer things, but they're going to be a whole other level better, and they're going to be so much more of me present for you. So whatever I offer moving forward, whether it's a pop-up class or a retreat type experience or private work, if you're in alignment with the work that I've done, this embodiment practice, I encourage you to continue to work with me in some way, to stay connected. The journey's not over. We're all continuing to ride a very tumultuous surf in life, and I still feel very much like too many people are holding on for dear life. And if you feel into that and think about that, you know, if you were to fall into a raging river and you were to struggle, you would drown. You were to struggle to you know, to hold on to things or not drown, you actually would drown. That's the key, is in letting go. The key to not drowning in a crazy river is to have faith and just let go and float and have the river take you on that journey, and you'll be floating with the river, and then you'll get to a point where you pass the rapids or whatever the difficulty and the challenge is, and it's slower, and you're able to kind of stand your ground again. You wouldn't have the strength to do that if you're fighting the river the whole time. So, I mean, that's our world, that's our life. And so meaningful to continue to work together in some way. So I encourage you to continue whatever the challenges that you have to continue to work with me in my offerings moving forward. Even though the yoga studio experience is over, there are many, many other ways to connect and many other ways to align yourself. And so, you know, I'll keep doing that because within me, I'm a master server, and it's a significant, important part of my journey here to do these offerings and to be of service and to be a light and to help others. But how that shows up and how that occurs is obviously changing, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for me, my health and well-being. There haven't been a lot of people that have actually asked me about that over the years because I think a lot of people assume I'm really okay, but there's a lot of things in my life that need other attention, and so this is good for my health and well-being, and this is also therefore allowing me to have a better capacity to teach and be there for others. So I think we're all going to benefit from this change, even though a lot of you are sad to see it go. I think it's going to be really good for all of us. I know it's going to be really good for all of us. And my dogs, which you can't see because they're just lying here on the ground right now asleep, they're happy because I'm going to be home with them. They're not going to be alone. When I'm gone, I'm just gone. You know, when I'm home. That there's two levels for them. So they're super stoked. So I just felt like I needed to say another little thing. There was just so many poignant moments today, pre-class and after class, and I just had to do an extra video. So thank you all again. I wouldn't be grateful if it wasn't for you practicing with me in whatever way you practiced with me, and then shared that story or stories with me. It's been incredibly impactful day and even month, I would say, of people just sharing and getting in touch. You know, people I haven't seen for years, or so many years. Somebody walked in today I haven't seen probably in 10 years. So grateful. And it's not over. It's just different. And that's life. So let go, stop hanging on, let go, trust, float down the river. We're all on that same river. We just can't see each other. So get to the other side, and I think we'll have a big picnic once we land. So thank you all again, and moving in with so much love and gratitude. Just so much love and gratitude. Thank you. Namaste.